Let's go ahead and compare the $1,000 iPhone 15 Pro with the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G of 2023. So first off, the iPhone 15 Pro is a $1,000 premium smartphone, and it's going up against the Moto G Stylus 5G, which on prepaid is a free device. So we're getting a very premium, expensive device going against a lower mid-range free device. So it's going to be an interesting match between these. Let's go to the usual specs just so we could put both of these devices into perspective. So both of these devices were released in 2023, so both modern devices. The iPhone 15 Pro is a smaller overall device, 5.7 inches by 2.78 by 33 inches thick. The Stylus from Motorola is a pretty huge device, 6.4 inches by 2.91 inches by 30.36 inches. So obviously the Stylus is a bigger device. It's also a heavier device. The iPhone weighs in at 6.6 ounces versus the 7.13 ounces on the Motorola. Build quality, the iPhone is glass and titanium, while the Motorola is glass and plastic. For the SIM card connectivity, the iPhone is eSIM only. Here in the US, China, you get the physical nano SIM, while the Motorola only has the nano SIM capability. As for dust and water resistance, the iPhone has IP68. So you can dunk it in water for 6 meters for 30 minutes, while the Motorola only has a water repellent design. Now for the display, we have a pretty interesting one here. The $1,000 iPhone has a 120 hertz retina display with the dynamic island, and the Moto Stylus 5G is a 120 hertz display, and also it has the stylus to go along with it. As for the screen size, again, the iPhone 15 is 6.1 inches, so it's smaller than the 6.6 inches on the Motorola Stylus 5G. As for resolution, the iPhone is slightly better as well at 461 ppi, while the Motorola is 399 ppi. And the screen on the iPhone 15 Pro is an always-on display. As for software, the iPhone has iOS 17 and will get 5-6 years of updates, while the Motorola has a stock version of Android and Android 13, but it's probably safe to say it's not going to get a lot of updates. Chipset, iPhone has the A17 Pro, best in class, while the Motorola has a Qualcomm Snapdragon, the 450 Snapdragon 6th Gen, so kind of like a lower to mid-range chipset. As for storage and memory, the iPhone has 128 gigs, while the Motorola also has 128 gigs, and that's a variant that you're getting for free at Motorola. As for RAM, you're getting the iPhone starts off at 8 gigs, which is the first one of its kind, going up from 6 gigs, which is what the Motorola has. So you're getting more RAM on the iPhone versus the Motorola, and 6 gigs of RAM is pretty much the standard now if you want to start off with Android. As for the camera situation, the iPhone 15 has 3 cameras on the back, 48 megapixel main, 12 megapixel telephoto, 12 megapixel ultra wide, while the Motorola has a 50 megapixel main camera and a 8 megapixel ultra wide. Now going into the video, actually both of these are pretty good, 4K on both of these, so kind of nice on the free phone for the Motorola. As for the selfie camera, 4K on the iPhone, but you're only getting 1080p on the Motorola Stylus. No headphone jack on the iPhone, but you do get it with the Motorola. As for Bluetooth, you got 5.3 on the iPhone and slightly older 5.1 on the Motorola. Both have NFC, so that's good for payments. And for the charging port, the iPhone has now upgraded to USB Type-C, while the Motorola has the standard USB-C type as well. For unlocking, the iPhone has Face ID, while the Motorola has the side-mounted fingerprint reader. And battery-wise, the iPhone has a 3274 milliamp battery versus the 5000 milliamp on the Motorola Stylus 5G. Super standard here, really big battery on Androids. For charging, the iPhone has a 50% charge in 30 minutes with 15 watt wireless MagSafe charging, around 8 watts wireless charging with Qi, and has new reverse wired charging at 4.5 watts. So that's for charging your AirPods and your Apple Watch, while the Motorola has a standard 20 watts wired charging. So after going through those specs, it's safe to say that the iPhone in general has better specs, but you're paying $1,000 for it. The Motorola Stylus 5G has a few things up its sleeve that the iPhone cannot touch. And specifically, obviously, the Motorola is its price tag. It's free. You go to Metro, go online, you can add it to your cart, $40 if you add a new number. And it just, that goes a long way. But apart from the price, the Motorola is a bigger device. It has the stylus. It has, you could add an SD card, so expand the storage, as much as you want. And it has a gigantic battery. Now, things that are pretty much the same on these are going to be the 120 hertz refresh rate on the screen, which is top notch. Camera wise, it's nice to see 4K on the Motorola for a device at this price. And you also get the bonus of having the headphone jack. It's nice that it has NFC, so you can do Google payments on it, touch to pay. And it has a gigantic battery. So yeah, the Motorola 5G the thing that's probably going to lack is going to be in updates on the phone itself. So you're not going to get a lot of updates at all, if any. And you're not going to have a lot of quality when it comes to the camera. The iPhone 15 Pro is obviously going to blow it out of the water. But it's nice that it's getting to the point where iPhones, it's getting, very hard to justify paying $1,000, although you have to get on certain plans to get the iPhone justified. And $1,000 outright is a pretty hard pill to swallow. But in this case, if you like a stylus, if you like the SD card slot, and you like the big battery, the Motorola Stylus 5G is the way to go. And I just thought this would be an interesting comparison. Let me know what you think.